Hello, everyone, and welcome to another interview with a Zine Quest 3 creator. Today, I'm sitting here with Luke Earl, the creator of Coiled Space, which is in its final days of funding on Zine Quest, Kickstarter. Luke, thanks for joining me, man.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem at all. I look forward to talking to you about Coiled Space. Um, this year, Zine Quest, there's a lot of things going on right now. I know the first day in February, it just seemed like my emails got bombarded with, you know, this is starting and this is starting and this is starting, and I just started backing and going crazy. But before we kind of start talking about the project and everything like that, let's talk about you. Let's find out a little bit about Luke.
Okay. So I'm a general maker of things. So by day, I'm UX design. By night, I've made various pinhole cameras, ukuleles, cigar boxes, and I'm doing some curtains. About 10 years, no, 2012. So 8 years ago, I started on board games. So some friends of ours sort of challenged each other to make a board game each, and that kind of snowballed into what it is now. And about 2015, I got into Dungeons and Dragons, and have been going through various different RPGs since then. And then last year, actually released something properly, which was Orchid Delirium, as part of the Zine Quest, which went well. And now I've done two zines this year. So Coiled Space, which is live now, and a small collection of flowers and entanglements, which was a very small, quick thing just before.
Nice. So, let's kind of talk about your gaming experience. You said you started in 2015 playing Dungeons and Dragons. I know for me, I played as a teenager, stopped for a long period of time, and then the only good thing about coronavirus is it got me back into playing games because I was basically alone. It was me and my wife, my pregnant wife, and now our child. So that's how long the quarantine's been going. And yeah, it kind of sparked this interest again, and I didn't realize just how far the rabbit hole went before jumping in. But let's talk about your gaming experience. Is your favorite? Do you like to play D&D, or do you have a different game that you like to play?
So D&D is the major one. So what and so what happened was I think it was Community. Do you know the Dan Harmon program? And they had
Hmm.
a couple of D&D episodes. I think that was like the final trigger. I think I tried it like a Star Wars game back in college. But I was just like, right, this is it, D&D. I'm going to do it. Kid's just been born, perfect time. But then it was like, well, who do you play with?
Yeah.
There's been a local meetup group set up. So I was like, well, I could GM. Why not? That seems easy enough. Which was a terrible idea. But so still got the same group going through the D&D. But since then, it's just, I think about a year later, I went to UK Games Expo, and picked up the Black Hack,
Yeah.
if you know that one. Because it was just like 7 pages, and you're like, oh, this is quite easy. I could learn another game here. And that's where it sort of went wrong. Then there's all these other games that you just start picking up and everything. So yeah, we've played things like Mouse Guard. When lockdown hit, we're trying to get through Orchid Delirium last year, we picked up Labyrinth RPG, which is fantastic. It was based on the film The Labyrinth.
Yeah, that's
So
cool.
you get to pretend to be David Bowie. It's like
Yeah.
amazing. So there's all that, and yeah, I think but D&D is the one we keep coming back to. That's our regular session. Um, yeah, it just keeps going. All of them really.
Nice. Nice. So, okay, let's talk about your game, Cold Space, or at least your Zine Quest game. Why don't you go ahead and give us the elevator pitch on what it is, what's involved in it. I read a little bit of the Kickstarter because I backed it before we even started talking. I thought it was a really cool thing. I'm a big space guy, and any kind of traveling through or interdimensional anything, I'm pretty much all in. Yeah, so just tell us a little bit about Cold Space.
Um, so I think what's my sentence now? I've got it down to Coiled Space is a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy adjacent um, solo journaling RPG for up to 4 players. I really loved Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's kind of a bit of an homage to that. Of course, it's kind of this dystopian future. So it touches in my mind. It touches on themes of like awful, massive corporations just doing things, and the dangers of language. So I've tried to be very careful. So you're harvesting, you're not plundering other ships or anything like that, which I think adds to the craziness, and that kind of feeling that the Hitchhikers kind of gives you that kind of bureaucracy,
Yeah.
for the sake of bureaucracy. But yeah, it started out as a standard RPG because I don't know about you, but I ended up going a little bit overboard on a dice Kickstarter for these really cool science fiction looking dice, and I was like, I haven't got a science fiction RPG to play them with. So I was like, okay. So I'd looked through what was out there and went, I don't really want another kind of D&D related thing. So Stars Without Numbers out the window. Couldn't see anything like Fate that I could really grasp. So I started making my own. In 2019, 2018, one of those two. And then that morphed into being a board game because I couldn't quite get the RPG aspect to work. So I did about 20 prototypes of this board game, playtesting with various people at a couple of conventions. And then Orchid Delirium took over. So I was like, dropped Coiled Space, went to Orchid Delirium. And then this Zine quest came around. I thought I could do a source book, just sort of get that vibe of Ether Corp, and that whole universe. And then I was like, actually, it doesn't really work as a board game because people are trying to win. They're trying to get all these coils, and you're like, it's not really about that. So I've sort of adjusted it at the minute into this journaling solo thing, so you can actually spend some time thinking about the characters and your ship and what's going on in the universe, and you get time to contemplate all that, enjoy tooling around the universe and dealing with other stuff.
Yeah, one of the things that you said, and one of the things that caught my eye that I couldn't really quite understand was that you say it's a solo journey for up to 4 players. So, are all 4 players working together, or are they working separately, and then the stories come together at the end?
So this is, I did wonder if I've slightly mislabeled this. It was a bit of a callback to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, a trilogy in 4 parts.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, so while it's a journaling, a solo play, you can bring other people in. And this is kind of that. There's like 4 roles that you can play on the ship, and each have a separate role, double L, when you do your long range scans, and you also get that moment to pitch how you're going to try and capture these energy coils to the other players, and you can all vote. There's a bit of one-upmanship within it, but yeah, it's still getting those people to the table rather than them all going off and doing their own separate journaling. But yeah, there's telemetry, observations, systems, and security. Security is the one that tickles me because it's not security of themselves or the other people. It's security in case something anomalous occurs. So it's trying to bring that group play in.
One of the other things that I saw on your Kickstarter page was, it looks like you have a website connected to it to create different events of happening, instead of having, like, some books have like a D6 chart where you roll and this kind of thing happens. So it looks to me like it's half book play and then half from your website, for as far as a GM wanting to get a specific encounter or anything like that.
Yeah, so that kind of sprang out of the prototyping that I was doing with the board game. So it's like, okay, so I could make up a load of little cards with these things that you do. So you just shuffle the cards and give them out. But I was like, well, actually, is there an easier way to do that? I can update them. So I was like, okay, well, I could actually do a website so you can just generate this card that comes out. So essentially, it's going to be a D100 table, and every time you jump, something terrible happens. The universe doesn't get quite put back the way it used to be, as it sort of envelops your ship around in different ways. And so, yeah, you just hit the ether jump button, and it tells you what strange anomaly has occurred to you and how it affects the ship's stability, the harvester's stability, the solar system, the star system stability. Yeah, and the hope is that it's not going to drop to zero, because then there's no stability whatsoever, and you sort of become atomically unstable and dissipate into the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more last thing that I'm going to harken back to the Kickstarter for is, like you said, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is a very big inspiration, and I read very quickly that it said the number to hit is 42.
Yeah,
I like that.
right.
That's a good callback.
It was, yeah.
So
it was a nice realization that if you chucked all the dice together, you've got like a 1 in 5 chance of getting over 42. I was like, that's all right. Why not?
That's cool. So one of the, I guess, the tagline that I'm seeing on here, and I even have it on the screen. Unfortunately, you can't see the screen, but the people watching can. And it says, "At the end of the universe, there will be a harvest." Is there a specific harvest? What are we harvesting? Is that something that we establish when we start gameplay? Do we create whatever it is that we're harvesting?
So this is that danger of language coming in. Ether Corp calls this harvesting. They've created this jump technology that when you hit the big green button, the universe sort of folds itself around your ship in a completely different way, sending you into a different star system. The harvesting is more plundering. So you're trying to capture energy from other ships, other craft, other megastructures, other moon bases that they have, and that energy could be dark matter or E115 or solar energy, whatever they've managed to use to power their ships or just have hanging around. So it's it's that combination of EtherCorp creating this jump technology, which may or may not be causing the end of the universe, and then using that technology to then go out and harvest with a big H, which they sort of use to cover up the fact that it's not harvesting at all. It's this terrible thing that you're carrying out. Yeah.
Understood. Now I understand what we mean by harvest. So you said you had done Zine Quest before, but why? I guess specifically, why Zine Quest now? And what makes you want to participate in Zine Quest?
So the first one came around, and I was like, that seems really cool and interesting, but I don't have anything put out there, because it gives you that really focused challenge. You've only got a certain number of pages. For the first one that I did, I only used one single color. So you're forced to think about the papers that you use. This time I'm doing one color, and the logbook's going to be black on green and yellow. So it gives you some constrictions of what you can't achieve. It's quite a small format. You're still putting a lot of work to get into there, but you don't have to think about creating this 192-page book that people may or may not want afterwards. So you've got like a development time of months rather than years, although this one has been years off and on. But yeah, I think it gives you that much more easy entry, and it's a nice way to break into Kickstarter itself. So you start getting used to the controls and all the rest of it. I mean, my plan is to I'll come back a second. So when I started making this game, I thought of this EtherCorp. I was like, yeah, okay, cool name. Am I going to get sued by any companies out there already called EtherCorp? I was like, let's find out. So I did some searching, found there wasn't any. I thought, okay, that's good. And then I thought, actually, what would it take to become EtherCorp? I found it's £12 just to register your limited company. I was like,
hey, there you go.
All right, let's do that. So I registered that so that my plan now is to release a small set of zines, Coiled Space. It's the third one of that. I'm going to do another Delirium, but kind of build up to doing the big Kickstarter. I want to kind of get to a point where I can release a nice book or a nice board game, whatever that is. So yeah, I guess it's kind of keeping that practice in, finding out how the system works, find out what you have to do to publicize yourself, and all the rest of that. So it's an interesting learning curve.
Yeah, that's a noble cause, man. I think that creating something cool that people are interested in, and seeing that people are interested in it, only makes you want to do better. With your big project that you have devised. That's really cool, man. So I say this in every interview. As we know, backing doesn't mean buying, but there are different tiers for backers that get certain things. Can you tell us a little bit about the tiers that you have?
Yeah. So I slightly readjusted them on Friday after a mid-campaign panic, I guess. So we've been sort of like sitting just underneath the 100% funded goal for a few days now. So I was like, oh, can I adjust things? So I've added this new tier, £2 for a postcard, which just has the basic tables and a measurement guide, so you don't need the poster. And then we have the digital tier at £4, which comes with the rule books, the logbook, the poster that you roll on, which I think is that still around our heads?
Yeah, yep, that's there.
And the postcard and ink-friendly versions. So if people are printing these out themselves, they don't suddenly find their ink cartridges are ruined and stolen and used. That's the digital tier. The next one up is physical copies. So you get the rule book, the logbook, poster, the postcard, all the digital files. And then with the top tier, the E115, that's gold shiny. So I actually did one of these. I don't know if you can see this.
Oh yeah, nice.
So I did this for Delirium as well, so I added a bit of back there as well.
It's really cool.
So they're quite fun.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for stuff like that, man. I really am.
So am I. I was just like, I can actually do this myself. It's amazing. So yeah. Those are the four that on there.
I have your.
And the rules are going to be on the website too. That's how the postcard sort of works.
Oh, cool. I have your Kickstarter up here. You're like this close away, like literally 14 US dollars away from reaching goal. Yeah, I hope that whoever listens to this just backs at I'm at the 21 pound, which I think is something like $25 or $30 US, and I look forward to it, man, because stuff like this with all the these different physical things that come with it for that amount of money, I mean, you really can't beat it. And you're supporting someone else's, passion. You're supporting them to create more. You're supporting their artwork. Stuff takes time, like you've been saying. It's years that you've been working on this idea. Maybe not necessarily in zine form, but if this can kickstart something a lot bigger, and this is a lot of fun to play, which it seems, me especially, I can only speak for myself, I'm more liable to back whatever big project it is that you have. So just keep going, man. And whoever hears this, listens to this, sees this, anything, back at the physical level, help him fund his passion here, man, because this seems like a lot of fun. We still got a lot more to talk about, though.
Yeah, we did actually get over the 100%. But and someone said, I'm really excited about this. But then they instantly cancelled their pledge. I'm like, what did I do wrong?
Oh man.
so then that sort of went back under. It's like, oh, okay. I think that's probably what precipitated that kind of panic that set in.
Yeah, I I've been doing that to a lot of creators as well, where I back something and then I say, okay, well, I have to take it down a little bit. I'm going a little too far here. So how about we just get the PDF copy, or how about we just throw them a few bucks to still continue to help them, maybe just not at the physical level. So I totally understand that. But you're just like this close, man. Like literally one physical backer away. Um, so we talked about the packages. This project, are you working on this alone, or do you have different artists and things like that are helping you with, the backgrounds? Like I have up here the rolling table, the graphics, the formatting and things like that. Is that all you, or you have a team?
That's just me.
Wow.
So yeah, I guess this comes back to general maker of things. So about 20 odd years ago, I started playing with GSCs, making websites, and then that's kind of snowballed. So I ended up being a web designer. So I was doing coding and the design bit. I kind of learned on Photoshop and then into Illustrator and all the rest of it. So yeah, it's just like it's all me. Um, it tends to be of a certain kind of flat style, but
No. I'm looking at the Kickstarter here, and I mean, I'm looking at the picture with the mat, the physical copy, the log. I'm guessing that's like a postcard, and then it has like a picture of a phone with the website that we had talked about. And I mean, that's the quality that I would see out of some kind of marketing campaign or something like that. I mean, you marketed yourself very well on here, and all the hypnotic guides on here. Like this one says jump. There's another one on here. The hypnotic style of at the end of the universe there will be a harvest. I mean, it makes me want to learn a little bit more. Um, so I know you've already launched here. How many more days do you have until everything is said and done?
I think four. I say four. It's Friday, I think.
Okay, so we got about, it says on here, 5 more days.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna do everything I can to help you get over that mark. Matter of fact, let me hit F5 here. Maybe somebody beat me to it. Well, now it doesn't want to load, so that's fine. Continue to back anyway, even if you did hit over the mark, because this game looks like a lot of fun. Still this close, $14. So are there any other games or anything that you're working on, or that some people that you know are working on, or anything you want to promote before we kind of end the interview and hopefully get you some more backers?
Yeah. So there's two which haven't quite yet funded. So that's Scurry and I'm just going to bring up the other one. So Scurry is they're both actually mouse related. I mentioned Mouse Guard earlier.
Yeah.
There's a friend of mine in our gaming groups. She's very into the mice kind of thing, and that's kind of now spilled over into our desire for mouse games. So there's Scurry, which looks really, really excellent. So that needs funding still.
How far is that one away from being funded?
They are 575,
Okay.
nearly 600, and they've got 7 days to go. And then there's In the Light of a Faded World, which again is exploring a forest to small forest creatures, using Nate Treem's In the Light of Ghost Star. It seems to be based on that. But that's now gone up, so that's good. So that's 200 pounds off. That's
Okay.
$300. So yeah, those are the ones I call out. And there's oh yes, and I've just put my the remaining copies of Orchid Delirium on my itch page, so those are available too. Which is orchid hunting in 1865, where you play as orchid hunters, which is a bit of a niche subject.
Yeah, I would say so.
But people seem to have enjoyed it from those that I've heard back from. So that's good.
Very interesting. Well, before we let you go too, I just want to say, anyone who is participating in Zine Quest, there is an initiative going on right now called $28, 28 days, where each day in February you go to a project that you might not be backing at the moment, and just back it for $1. Help them get more backers. Help them get more dollars. This project and specifically only need 14 more US dollars until it's completely funded. That's 14 people doing a $28, 28 days, or just back the damn thing at a physical level and be the person that helps push it over the line.
Really cool.
So I suggest anyone who is participating in Zine Quest at all to participate in the $28, 28 days. I know I have, for sure. Is that something that you've heard of?
Yeah, it is, and I thought it was a really cool idea. And it is really cool to see like just this pound or come in, and it's just like, oh, fantastic. I've not done it, but I've backed 12. And I think there's another 4 I've got saved. So it's but yeah, it's a really cool one. I should actually do a few more.
Cool, man. Yeah, like as a creator, every dollar helps, every pound helps. Every ruble, whatever the case may be, it helps a creator get their passion and their artwork out there. If anyone would like to know more about Rollers of Relay, you can visit us, me, on our link tree and get links to our social media pages, podcast feed, YouTube channel, Ko-fi page, Discord invite, all that stuff. It's linktr.ee/Rollers of Relay. Come hang out with me and all the other people in this cool community on Discord. It'll be a lot of fun. Luke, thanks a lot, man. I am hoping for $14 more in 5 more days. I'm sure you can get there. If not, I personally created another name, use a different email, and back it so we can make sure this gets funded.
I've still got to ask my mum. So
yeah, there you go.
All right.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thank you so much.
Cool. Cheers. Take care.